Hey guys, today we are going to start with our second chapter of economics, which is basic terms and concepts used in economics. Let us begin. So, our first concept in economics is want. Wants means desire for a thing which is supported by an effort to acquire the same. This means that, for example, if I have a desire, if I have a want for buying a house for myself, then and even I am putting my efforts to acquire it, then it would be termed as a want. Now, wants are reoccurring, never ending, ever growing, and repetitive. Now, let's study the characteristics of human wants. First, wants are repetitive. This means that wants again and again arise. For example, if I have a craving for chocolates, I consume a chocolate, then again, because of my craving, I will again want to have a chocolate. This is repeated. Okay. Second point, wants may differ with age. For example, if I am a 5-year-old, and then of course I would like to learn or listen to poems, watch cartoons, etc. And a 40-year-old would like to watch news or something related to that. So it of course differs with age. Third, wants may differ with gender. So for example, if I'm a girl, so maybe I like pink, purple, orange, all these colors, and boys would like blue, black, gray. So they differ with gender. Fourth, wants may differ with preferences. For example, a addicted person to cigarette would prefer having it, but a normal person would not prefer that. So it could differ with preferences. Fifth point, wants may differ with climate. Of course, this is true. For example, in Mumbai, if here it is raining, it is a rainy season, then of course your umbrellas or raincoats and all type of clothings would be required. But in Shimla or Jammu Kashmir area, there they would require sweaters and all those stuff, shawl and all. So it differs with climate. Sixth is wants may differ with culture. For example, in India, if a Hindu person is there, he would prefer wearing kurta and pajama and all that type of clothing. But a Tamil person would wear dhoti or something different. So this way it varies from person to person, culture to culture, like this. Seventh, wants are unlimited. This means wants will never end. Wants are unlimited. One want is satisfied, the other again arises. One want satisfies, again arises. So it's continuously repeating and never ending. It's unlimited. Okay. Now we will go to our second point, which is goods. Goods are anything which are capable of satisfying human wants or anything which has utility. So I won't use this word utility because we've not learned that right now. But anything which can satisfy human wants are goods in economics. Okay. The end result of the economic activities is the satisfaction of human wants. Goods stand for any commodity that satisfies a human want and has exchange value also. Of course, goods has exchange value. The term goods is used in a wider sense, which includes material as well as non-material goods. For example, non-material good could be services. We would learn that in our next slide. Now, classification of goods. Goods are classified into 6 points. First is economic and non-economic goods. What are economic goods? Economic goods are those goods which are not freely available for us. We have to pay for these goods always, and these goods are, we obtain them, we possess them by giving some extra effort, and then we get those goods. Whereas non-economic goods are those goods which do not have economic value, and they cannot be exchanged as such as a good. So for example, sunshine, air, you cannot exchange them, they don't have economic value. But for example, food grains, books, cycles, AC, radio, all these things have value in them. They have exchange value, they are transferable from one person to another. They could be exchanged, they could be transferred. So these are economic goods. Second, material and non-material goods. Material goods are those goods which are tangible. What do you mean by tangible? Tangible means the things which we could see, touch, feel. Okay? See, touch, and feel. So these are tangible goods. They have definite shape and size. Okay, these have a particular shape and size. It can be stored and transferred from one place to another also. Example of this is furniture, clothes, books, TV sets, etc. Non-material goods, on the other hand, these are the goods that do not have definite shape and size, but capable to satisfy human wants. Even though they do not have size or shape, they are able to satisfy human wants. These are services. Services of, for example, a doctor. These are intangible. You cannot touch, see them, or even feel them. So these are examples. For example, service of a doctor, professor, barber, etc. Third, consumer goods and producer goods. Consumer goods are those goods which include all those goods which are used directly to satisfy human wants. Example, food, clothes, books. These are directly satisfying the consumer. Okay, so these are known as consumer goods. Producer goods are called capital goods also, or investment goods also. These include those goods which are used to produce other goods. Okay, these goods satisfy human want indirectly. They help in the production, for example, machinery, factory, tools, equipments, etc. Fourth point, perishable goods and durable goods. Perishable goods are those goods which should be consumed within a short span of time. For example, milk. If you don't consume it by the time of expiry, it could expire, and if you eat a spoiled, or if you drink that milk, you would get sick. So those are perishable items or goods which need to be consumed in a short time span. Whereas these durable goods are those goods which satisfy human wants for a longer period of time. For example, building, furniture, books, TVs, etc. Fifth, fifth point is intermediate goods and final goods. Intermediate goods are those goods which are produced for the purpose of being used. in the production. It is these are the same as the producer goods. Okay, so these intermediate goods are the ones which are produced for the purpose of being used in the production of other goods as secondary inputs. Okay, for example, raw material, electricity, all those. And final goods are those goods in an automobile industry. Some parts of car are purchased from the other industries, so these could be intermediates. Final goods, these goods are finished goods, the ones which are ready, are not required for further entire into any stage of production process. They won't enter any stage of production process, and they are completely finished. Okay, they are just like, now they're just going to be consumed by the consumer. Sixth point, private goods and public goods. Private goods are those goods which a private, which an individual owns, is not shared by any other person, for example land, house, etc. Public goods are those goods which people share in a commodity, in a society, collectively. And public goods could be, for example, colleges, a town hall, a park, a hospital, railway, etc. Now, third point is our utility. Utility is anything which satisfies wants directly or indirectly. Okay, these are want satisfying commodities. Okay, want satisfying power of a commodity is utility. Utility, the word utility in economics generally refers to measurement of usefulness. Yeah, it is also usefulness that consumer obtain from any goods, anything which satisfy human want. This I've already taught you guys before. In other words, it is the want satisfying power of commodity. It has been observed that non-material goods like the services of doctor, teacher and artists also satisfy human wants, which also possess utility. So here is the definition given by J.S. Nichols. Characteristics of utility. Utility has 11 characteristics. By the way, I'm preferring the Oswald book publication. So if anything is not matching to your book, don't worry. The content and the understanding would be the same. Okay. So first is utility is not inherited with the commodity. What do you mean by this? It means the utility is associated with the commodity, but it is not inherited with it. If it were so, then everybody will get the same amount of satisfaction. In this way, liquor, for example, should provide the same level of satisfaction to everyone, but it is not that case. Everyone is not having that satisfaction by the liquor. The ones who are not addicted to it don't want to have liquor. Okay. Second is utility is not associated with goodness. So here the goodness is not there. Utility does not has goodness. The goods which provide satisfaction to the person may not always be for welfare or provide benefit. For example, if a person is disappointed with life and wishes to commit suicide, then he may take poison to end his life. But everyone does not want poison. It's not good. It does not has goodness, but it is possessing utility for that person who's trying to suicide. Third, utility is not pleasure. Every time utility could not be pleasure, right? The medicines that we consume, for example, in malaria, the medicine which we consume is not pleasurable. It's not like always tasty, sweet, or something like that. It could be bitter. Actually, it is bitter. So, it is not related with pleasure. Utility is relative concept. Here, utility itself is a relative concept in difference for persons to person, place to place, and situation to situation. Okay, for example, a person gets more utility from wine, but the other person which does not drink that particular wine won't get utility. Okay, the poor people get more utility by the consumption of rotis, or by just getting 100 rupees they get utility out of it. This is because the quality and marginal utility has inverse relationship. Fifth, relative and variable. Utility is highly relative and variable. It varies from person to person, from time to time. The utility of a commodity gives different level of satisfaction to different people. As I already gave an example of wine. For example, if a person is addicted to something, he would have utility in it. But if the other person is not addicted, he won't. And the utility of a commodity depends upon the mental attitude and intensity of desire of a person. So as you all know, everyone has utility just because they have want, they have desire to acquire something. Okay. Second, so wait a second. Yeah, sixth point, subjective. The utility of a commodity is always subjective because it depends upon the consumer's satisfaction. Okay, so here it differs from person to person, from single person to some other particular person. Okay, it is subjective. This may differ from consumer to consumer. For example, cold drink may give satisfaction to one but not to other person. Seventh point, sorry, just a second here. Seventh point, immeasurable. Utility is not measurable. Utility cannot be measured in any measuring instrument. Hence, it cannot be added or subtracted. Whereas a measuring unit is given to it, utils, but it is not having an instrument for measuring. So it cannot be added or subtracted. However, yeah, Professor Marshall has attempted to measure it with money, but it's not so. It cannot even be measured with money. Eighth point, usefulness. As I already said, usefulness, it means that goods possess utility even when they may not be useful. Right? For example, for a poor person, he is not having a requirement for a AC. Even if he has, he won't have utility or he won't want it. Whereas a rich person wanting a lavish and a luxurious life would of course want a AC. So it differs, and the usefulness of that particular commodity of that AC differs from a person to person. Pleasure, already said it's not pleasure. For commodities possessing utility also give pleasure when look, now they give pleasure also, they do not give pleasure also. So in the previous point I said that they don't have pleasure. Here they have pleasure for those who are addicted. Okay, for example, if I take an example of this drugs. So here a addicted person who injects these drugs would have utility for those drugs, have a high utility for those drugs, but a normal person would not have utility. It's all the same. All the points are correlated and interconnected. Next, morality. It has nothing to do with morality. It is not necessary that a commodity possessing utility provides moral or ethical importance. Of course, having cigarette is not having any moral or ethical value or importance, or having liquor or anything like that. It is only related with the satisfaction of human wants. 11th and the last point, abstract. Utility cannot be seen, touched, or felt. It is a psychological factor. It's all in our brain. Okay? It is the satisfaction level of a person. Okay, for example, judgment of the judge or the intelligence of the doctor can neither be seen, touched, or it, but it has utility. Okay. Next is classification of utility. The classification of utility has been done in total and marginal utility. So first, what is total utility? Sorry, total utility means the total satisfaction received, the total amount, the sum of satisfaction received by the consumption of some commodity taken together at a time. Okay, here, and it has a symbol TU. Okay, total utility. Now, marginal utility is related to the satisfaction acquired by consuming one additional unit of that commodity, like addition to what you've consumed. For example, if I consumed two rotis, I consumed one more roti. So that is marginal utility, the addition, okay, of utility. However, it should be clearly understood that normally the marginal utility continues to decline. Now we would be starting. Oh, so here as you can see, I've already explained you this total utility and marginal utility. Total utilities. Look here, that M sign that you could see, that is stimulation, and mu is the symbol for marginal utility. Okay, and measurement of utility. Generally the concept of utility is subjective and psychological. As you already know, it is all in our brain. It is just the satisfaction level. Okay, so it differs with person, place, time. This all we have studied already, it's just repeating. Due to these reasons, it is difficult to measure utility. Okay, the in economics there are three main theories related to measurement of utility: cardinal approach, ordinal approach, revealed preference theory. So this, I guess, all this is in your 10th standard, not right now. So we would be continuing the chapter later. Now we would stop right now here, and so bye bye.